Welcome to the 2014 edition of the 90 Degree Show, hosted by the Marching Podcast and Blog Talk Radio. Advice may be misleading, but examples are always clear. And here's your host, the Phantom Podcaster himself, Joe Beard.
All right, welcome to the 2014 90 Degree Show. I am your host, Joe Beard, and happy to be of service for you tonight. Today is August 31st, 2014, 5 o'clock on the West Coast and 8 o'clock on the East Coast. Excuse me, we appreciate all those listening live and listening in podcast form, whether through Blog Talk Radio, our website, Facebook, Twitter, or through iTunes, or any other social media advice that you may have. At the end of the broadcast, if you decide you like the show, then we appreciate a donation to the network, if you feel so in your heart, of course. Just simply go to themarchingpodcast.com and click on the donate button to help improve the show and help build our scholarship fund. All right, today is the first day of the 90 Degree Show for the 2014 year, and I am excited to be broadcasting to you for a third year. We are excited to have another year under our belt and to kick it off and ready to be of service for you tonight. Tonight, our featured matchup is the SWAC MEAC Challenge for 2014, brought to us by 8 to 5 Entertainment and some other people as well. See, a lot of folks have broadcasted this game and other games from the weekend as well. The A&M, the Alabama A&M, Bulldogs, and the North Carolina A&T Aggies. Two great bands to start the year. Now, there are multiple matchups every week, and we'll try our best to touch base on all of them so that you can listen to us and get a good view of what happened throughout the week. But you yourself, if you have traveled to one of these games, can help us in advance by calling into the number that you see there on the screen and filling us there in what you and the experience that you had this weekend, the matchup that you see. Even if you do not want to call in and correct us or correct us on something you see, you can leave your message in the chat room. We have there. The chat room will be there. If you log into blogtalkradio.com and you have an account, you can leave your account there, or you can leave your comments there to speak with us as well. So we'll be excited to kick off this new year and to kick off week one as well. So thank you for listening and thank you for joining with us. This is the first day of the first year, so I'll bring in someone who's going to be with us all year, the owner and founder of Block Band Music, Mr. Rashad Waters. What's going on tonight, Rashad?
Hey, man, everything is all good, brother. You doing all right?
I'm doing okay. I really appreciate you being on live. Just really excited to kick off this new year and getting everything situated and whatnot, but at least wanted to bring you on to introduce the owner and founder of Block Band Music, just to tell the listeners and all about your business and that you'll be supporting us this year. One of the outstanding sponsors that we have here on the Marching Podcast Network. We just sponsored the 2014 Director Series podcast with Dr. Kevin O. Davenport. But just wanted to give you some time now just to talk about Block Band and let the listeners know about who you are and about Block Band Music and Publishing.
Okay, Block Band is a music company that is minority-owned. Yes, I'm the minority. And it is operated as well by graduates and attendees of HBCUs. It is a company that I believe that people have been looking for a long time and just need to know about us. We are a company that can provide your music, your marching band music, but we can also provide arrangements of concert band music and traditional concert band music. We provide drills. People can get spats and shoes and gloves and mouthpieces and reeds and drumsticks and drum heads. Just about everything that you need for your band other than a tuba or a T-shirt you can get through Block Band. You can even get materials like method books or even Dr. Davenport's book, building the fundamentals of building a high school marching band through our company. We're all about supporting show style and core style bands, particularly our show style ones there. And we're glad to be in support of you, Joe, as you also are in support of show style bands.
Well, that's outstanding, man. We love what you're doing with Block Band. So definitely, as you know, we get as much time as we can. Definitely want to let the listeners know about Block Band and how important there is and how important they are, and definitely to all the music directors out there looking for help and looking for anything they need to spice up their performance. Definitely contact blockbandmusic.com for the correct consultation of such. So welcome to the 2014 year.
Blockbandmusic.com. Blockbandmusic.com. Blockband.com.
Oh, yeah, blockbandmusic.com. Yes, make sure.
Right.
So, yes, thank you very much. And we're really excited about the new year. Tonight, our featured matchup is the SWAC MEAC Challenge for 2014. Haven't seen too much film here put out. We were waiting for the guys from 8 to 5 to put that out, but I'm sure with the timing, that SWAC MEAC Challenge is different from a lot of the games that we'll be doing. Actually, the majority of the games we'll be doing this year will be on Saturdays, and then we'll have the critique here on Sunday. You know, we'll at least have a full day to talk about it and, you know, read from all the comments on the fifth quarter and all over the internet, so to speak. But definitely the guys are probably later getting some of that data uploaded to us. There was the game was on ESPN today, and there was a little bit of the show of the halftime. Didn't show as much as the people that would be listening to this show would want to see. But I'm not gonna lie, both bands sounded good from what I saw there on ESPN. But we'll get into that later. Don't want to spoil too much of that now. Alabama A&M versus North Carolina A&T. Also, there were some other great matchups for the week. We'll try to touch base on them if we can. Jackson State, Florida A&M was this weekend. Florida A&M did not travel. We also had Benedict and South Carolina State. South Carolina State, I saw definitely Benedict as well. And one of the matchups that I saw preseason-wise and was actually brought up on the fifth quarter, Tennessee State and Edward Waters. So we'll get a chance to touch base on all of those. Shout out to Thomas Jones Jr., Speechless Q brothers, who's always filming all of the A&T games. I was able to check out majority of what A&T is looking at in 2014 from him. And also shout out to BandTube HD and BandTube.com, the young James McDaniel out there out of Georgia doing his thing, putting a lot of the people out there, a lot of the bands. He put out the Tennessee State Edward Waters game, I believe. So we saw some of that, and we'll go ahead and talk about that tonight. We'll talk about that in the first show. Then we'll get the great Prunalysis in the second segment, and we'll hear from you as well in the second segment. The last segment that we'll hear from tonight will be wrapping up the show, hearing from all of you in the phone lines as well. But we're also going to do a new segment this year, Word on the Street. Shout out to the Martin who I saw growing up as a kid. Word on the Street was his show, but Word on the Street, whereas we'll tell you based on the matchups we talked tonight, what we saw on the internet from the fifth quarter, Facebook, Twitter, all the social media, just so that you know how people are talking about these matchups via the street. So thank you very much for listening tonight. We're really excited to kick off the show. Again, thank you very much for tuning in tonight. This is a podcast, so we will go ahead and get into the first commercial break. You can email the show at marchingpodcast@gmail.com, tweet us at marchingpodcast, or follow our blog the number 4.themarchingpodcast.com. If you are listening live and have a Blog Talk Radio account, you can tune into the chat room and leave your comments there. Last and definitely not least, let's check out the website at themarchingpodcast.com. Let's take the time to hear from our sponsors now before we kick off the show. Tonight's show is brought to you by Liquid Effects Photography, The Edge One Productions, Block Band Music and Publishing, bandhead.org, and HBCUbands.com. Let's take the time to hear from them now.
Having an anniversary party, birthday party, or better yet, you're about to marry that special someone? Liquid Effects Photography is the perfect choice to immortalize all your most special moments. With 10 years of dependable professional service that can deliver from the conventional to the best in cutting-edge technology and creativity. Come experience the uniqueness of Liquid Effects Photography. We serve the entire upper Midwest and will travel further upon request. Come check us out at liquideffects.com. That's LIQUIDEFFEX.com. Or call us at 773-454-5556. That's 773-454-5556.
From photo shoots to graduation pictures, from probates to band footage, from pageants to yard shows, there's only one team you can count on, the Edge One Productions. Visit theedge1.com and trust me, you won't be disappointed.
Chopping It Up is a podcast of one-on-one interviews with positive role models that have a connection through music and or education. Chopping It Up is all about inspiring our youth for a great future and providing a roadmap on how to get there. We also chop it up to give insight to anyone looking for information or hope in their endeavors. Chop it up with us on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern at blogtalkradio.com/marchingpodcast. Chopping It Up, changing the world through positive interaction.
Band directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
What if there was a Facebook for bands? Wait a minute, there is. Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is a social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to bandhead.org. Bandhead.org, a social network for bands.
All right, we're back, and we are excited to kick off this next segment with you. Thank you for all those who are listening live, and again, all those listening in podcast form. If anyone ever wants to know how you can listen to these episodes over and over, the link that you have provided, our link that we have provided, or the link that's out there, you can always listen to these links afterwards. These links are forever young, so to speak. So there's not a time that you can never click on these links and listen to the episode. If you click on the episode and the episode is not broadcasting live, it will be in podcast form, and it will take you from the beginning, and you can listen to it over and over as much as possible. We are on iTunes so that you can download these episodes. as at your leisure. And we also have a YouTube page so that you can listen to these episodes after the broadcast. But again, if you are clicking on one of these links while we are live here on the air, you will then be going straight to the actual broadcast so that you can listen live to what we are doing on the air. Again, this is a podcast form after we go off the air, so you can always listen to this link either or afterwards. So I know I always get a lot of questions about that, but wanted to clear that up to make sure that everyone is able to get a chance to listen live, or whether if they're not able to get a chance to listen live and they don't want to call in anyway. So you guys check out themarchingpodcast.com for any other information. Check out our YouTube page, youtube.com/themarchingpodcast. Tweet us at Marching Podcast, or just Google the Marching Podcast. We've done enough and put enough episodes and enough tags out there where you could find us out just by talking about the Marching Podcast. So we are thankful for those things. Shout out to all the people and shout out to all of the sponsors that are supporting this network. We really appreciate you, and we're really excited to kick off this third year. We know we got some more listeners out here now, and things are growing. So we want to go ahead and make sure we give out our props and say thank you to all the people that have put us at this point before we get too far, literally and figuratively. So I'll go ahead and move on with tonight's show while Rashad is there waiting on the second segment. We wanted to talk about the MEAC SWAC Challenge tonight, and we wanted to talk about Tennessee State and Edward Waters. If we have some time, we can talk about Benedict and South Carolina State. Benedict was not the Benedict that I have been, somewhat of a fan of the last couple of years, so that kind of swayed my decision about, as far as the order of powers of what we're going to talk about tonight. But that is another story we may get into later on. So this first segment, I want to go ahead and talk about A&T, and just let me say that A&T is setting a standard now for putting on shows. And they have kept the momentum going from last year. Most people know about A&T from, showing their behind at the Honda Battle of the Bands the last couple of years. And last year, I can't remember if it was last year or the year before last, they had the dude flying around on each other's shoulders, and that kind of like set them apart from everybody. And for the most part, you always said that A&T knows how to put on a show. They are a showman's band. They do a lot with dynamics. They're doing a lot of good things, and all the alumni should be proud. So, they actually had a Battle of the Bands in Charlotte, which we may get into more of which tonight, since the Battle of the Bands may be like the truest battle per se that we've really seen. I saw Southern this week, and I saw some other bands that were not really in high-profile battles, so to speak, but it was, it's the first football game of the year, and, basically everyone is trotting out their stuff, showing the world what they want to show them at this point. So Charlotte had a Battle of the Bands. I think it was last weekend, the Queen City Battle of the Bands. A lot of good bands were there. Talladega was there. A&T was there. But as far as getting into A&T is concerned, I really do love the hybrid style. I've looked at the band, saw Virginia State and North Carolina Central to their previous band director, the current band director is our friend of the network, T.D. Hollins. Shout out to you out there, man. But I do love the hybrid style where you see the high step and the core style mixed into the show. I think it just shows more range of the band, and I think it's more interesting to look at where you actually combining the two. I'm a hybrid type of guy, so to speak. And it's really exciting to see because, they high step march forward and backwards. They're pinwheeling, they're to the rear end, they're marching backwards, they're stepping backwards. It looks like they're heeling toes some parts. They're doing a good job of just showing their range. And I think that's what's really something that may be the theme of this year with the 90 Degree Show that I'm kind of noticing is, who has the most range? Everybody is good at what they do. Southern is loud as you know what. Jackson State is technical, and now Jackson State is pretty much loud as you know what. Well, who can show the most range? You know what I mean? We can show range and musicality by showing that we can play the top 40 and we can play marches, so to speak. But who has the most range, so to speak, showmanship-wise? And A&T always seems to ring the bell with that. So I really like the hybrid style. I also saw in their show in Charlotte their trumpets were playing with mutes for a little stretch. Thinking outside the box. That's something that I like, and it's just something that's going to help you put yourself abreast the other bands. It's what they put in their show, but it's like the planning. They try to be unique, and I really love that about what they're doing right now. But they are a showman's band, and it's hard to compete with that in any competition. So really excited about A&T and their first show. The only, I guess, I could be critical about them is that there was some work. They played Working Day and Night on their show, and there was a lot of mushiness. There was some mushiness sounding, a lot of running together with the phrases. Didn't sound as clean and as choppy, as staccato, so to speak, as it should be on that part. But, it kind of, jumped out a little bit, and I saw a little bit of North Carolina A&T on ESPN, and to give them credit, you really can't judge them based on that, but it was something that I picked up again, just hearing the phrasing kind of running together. Now, mind you, this is, first game, and it's very early in the year, so all bands probably have something that, they'll get over, and it's an early critique. But definitely something that it jumped out at me, and that I did notice, how some of that phrasing was running together with the great A&T playing Working Day at Night. Some improvement to be made by everyone. The drum major salutes, kill that. Just shaking and doing the Nelly type thing, that's not hot. Maybe Southern can get away with it, because, that's some tradition or whatever they have going on. But you guys are really looking scrubby with the drum major salutes, and you're not doing any type of skill, but you're just doing this shaking type of Chris Tucker Friday type joint. That was actually a little bit of my skit when I was a crab in the band back in the 90s, back in 97. I had to do somewhat of the whole, Chris Tucker, just, what y'all smoking on, man? And then, he found out what it was, and he, was hitting on himself. That's what a lot of you drum majors are looking at with these salutes. You know what I mean? Take a lesson from Jackson State. I don't mean to say that because, that sounds like I'm being a homer pick. But, the drum major salutes are applying some type of skill and some type of dance. But the shaking thing, please get rid of that, other than, singing in front of the band, which some of the new folks may not know. That is something I hate, but it's something we can always get rid of there. So something we can get rid of. But saw them on ESPN. The clip was short. Saw both bands on ESPN, and the clip was short. But, God bless the resources. They both sounded really good with all those great microphones that they have. Both bands sounded really full, and it was good to see, those bands back on TV. And it made you signify, that we're back having another year. But again, I did pick up some of the mushiness with A&T, and you could tell that they had somewhat of a different show than what they had for the Battle of the Bands. Noticing the Battle of the Bands, A&T usually does the little Cold Steel feature. Wasn't sure if they did that because, they're probably restrained for time and whatnot. If you were there, or the 8 to 5 guys are uploading their stuff, and you guys can let us know, please call in on the number you see there, 718-664-6025, and set us straight about what you see. Again, A&T, just another, class act band, and, excited to see them. Now, Alabama A&M as well, another up-and-coming band and another band I'm excited to see in 2014 how they'll be because of how impressive they were in 2013. I saw them on ESPN again, and they sounded good, and I already noticed from their formation how, they're paying attention to their spacing. A&T, your Jackson State, some of the other bands, formate and block band, towards the end, of the dance routine and whatnot, and, the bands are closer together, the bandsmen are closer together or whatnot. I do like how Alabama A&M was spaced out apart, still playing, keeping their spacing. Kind of reminds me of Texas Southern a little bit, but they held their formations well. Based on, the clips that I saw them playing Hey and the Fan Field Day on their YouTube channel, A&amp band on YouTube. So that'd be youtube.com/A&amp band. And check that out to see Alabama A&M. But they're really, really good, just like I imagined them to be last year. It's just we don't have too much of the tape and too much of the data to say yay or nay with the MEAC SWAC challenge. We thought we'd have some of that, but again, they sounded really good, and I was really impressed with both to say. So it's really, I can't really say yay or nay based on what I saw as far as the data. So I have to say it's a draw per se from what I saw, but again, I'm sure over the week people will be informing us and letting us know and having more tape of what we have, and they'll let us know specifically who did what. We actually got a caller here in the queue from the 256 area code, someone here from Alabama. Caller, go ahead and give us your name and tell us where you're calling from tonight. Caller, you on the air. Hello, caller. All right, so they probably may not heard us or may not be able to hear us or whatnot, but that was somebody, 256, I was figuring out somebody from Alabama would let us know. But the MEAC SWAC, I'm sure that that's being uploaded right now while we're on the air. But, again, if you are listening to us and you know something about that, if you watch us, please check us out and let us know. Two outstanding band programs and two bands are probably neck and neck at a draw right now for what we know. Also, let me go ahead and go on before we go on to the next segment. The next matchup we were talking about tonight, was Jackson State, Florida A&M. Florida A&M was unable to make the trip, but Jackson State still played there at home. It's always tough critiquing Jackson State or talking about Jackson State because it's my school and it's a school that I love, and I've always made sure to try to keep as objective as possible, not to be so much of a homer on the air. But Jackson State sounds good again this year. They're very powerful, not to be messed with, so to speak. And was really excited for them for their show this year. Wasn't really thrilled with the happy arrangement. And I don't know if that's going to be across the board, or maybe that's just not a song that's, 100% a band song, so to speak, but wasn't thrilled with that. And one thing about Jackson State, I'm just going to put it out there, we need to change up the show, y'all. It's been the same show for 30 years, the same format. We come out with Tiger Run On, we do our thing, we go into blowing. We have an outstanding drill. We look great on the drill, like how we look on the drill. We form the JSU, and then, J sets, and that's it. We definitely could take a page from the A&T playbook where, maybe we could incorporate some hybrid styles or just change up the show. But the folks in Jackson have been seeing that same show for a long time, and, I don't think it would hurt us to change. That's all I have to say about that. Did not see Fam. Fam did not show up, so, we can't say per se how it was. We love to give Fam a forfeit and just say Jackson State took the L, but it is not that simple. And, dealing with Fam folks, they'll be mad. So, we can't, we don't want to go there. You know what I'm saying? Last segment right before we get to our commercial break, first commercial break. was Edward Waters, Tennessee State. Now, when I saw this on the docket, I thought it was going to be a much more hyped up type of thing. And Aaron 100 on the fifth quarter was asking people, what did you guys think about this matchup? And it had some legs because it went on for a while. I am always a fan of the small school that does big things and based on their numbers, they can't do the same thing as your bigger schools. But I love those schools because I feel that they carry our craft. And Edward Waters is definitely one of those schools. I was putting them in the class with like your Talladega, your Edward Waters, your Elizabeth Cities. You know what I'm saying? Your Miles. Well, Miles probably is a different class now, but they were the same type of thing. And I remember them 2 years having more power and more nastiness than what I saw from them this year. They have a complete sound. They got a heart. They're tough, and their directors are doing an outstanding job. So we saw them against TSU, and they had a really decent show, really small in size, but they held their spacing together on the field, something that I really can appreciate. And I was not sure if they had the big girl routine or if their big girls were actually the girls. Like, I think I'll stay away from that one, but I don't know if like they were the actual dance girls that were big versus like they were trying to show like the big girl routine. Because of course everyone knows everyone does like the big girl routine, and it's like played out for like the last 10 years or whatever. But Edward Waters, and I believe I saw it on Mr. JT85 on YouTube. They came out with the big girls doing their thing, and they were wilding out, you know what I'm saying? And I was just like, hey, okay. And they were like, hey, we show diversity, blah blah blah. And then they brought out picket signs, and they were like, they played "What's Going On." So it was like, yo, what's going on? What's going on with Missouri and everything, blah blah blah. What's going on? So it was somewhat of an attempt to pull at your heartstrings a little bit. But I thought it was done in a good way. It wasn't too bad. I mean, they had to come with something versus Tennessee State being so large in size. And I thought that they did well. I thought that they showed up. There's actually someone from the 313 area code in the queue, so I'm going to answer them right fast. Just let me get what I say about Tennessee State. Tennessee State, they just had an okay show. Nothing about Tennessee State really jumps up and grabs you or makes you want to hit somebody in the face. They're really good. Decent energy, good energy. A little bit bland, but just good in all areas. Not spectacular enough to make you just so exciting. Not sure what was going on with the Carlton thing that they had, but like they had to do it. It was like Carlton and was like dancing. He was like, "Hey man, you hungry? You need to take a Snicker." And then he ate a Snicker, and then he started dancing different. So I wasn't sure what that was about, but it seemed like Edward Waters had more of the crowd participation, like, "Hey crowd, get involved with us" type of show, to get more of a response. And I can say that I really love the TSU formation that the band formed at the end. That's really, really the bomb. So with that, man, that was tough too. I can't really say I could give it to somebody on the field per se with that one just because it was so close. I will say that I want to kind of say that I give it to Edward Waters just because they came to Nashville. And Tennessee State being much bigger, having much more heart, not having more heart, but having more of the resources, more of the numbers, you would think that they would blow them away and not make it as close as it was. But Edward Waters came with a mission in mind, even though it may not have been as, I guess the response could not have been as potent as they had expected, but they came with a show that got the crowd involved. The crowd was paying attention. They were responding, which was much more than Tennessee State's. It just seemed like they were out there going through the motions, so to speak. And again, this is my opinion, but, that's just what I saw in Tennessee State. Another thing, too, before I get to the person in the 313 area code, Tennessee State, it seems like they do a lot of their drills similar to Jackson State, like the kaleidoscope drills, but they have the FAM, Bethune-Cookman numbers. And I don't know how that all the time looks. They have like the box formation, and there were like 6 boxes. You know what I'm saying? So it's like 6 rotating boxes out there. Maybe that's hot to some. I don't know. I'm just not really a fan of like 400 million people being on the field at one time. So again, maybe that's just a matter of opinion, matter of theory. But again, I think that Tennessee State should have blown Edward Waters much more out of the water, so to speak, than they should, especially them coming to Nashville and for them being smaller. I think they kind of left the door open, so to speak, for a little critique. We'll go ahead and get to this person from the 313 area code before we go to our first commercial break. Person, go ahead and give us your name and where you're calling from tonight.
Mario Warren, calling from Gainesville, Florida, on the way back to Huntsville, Alabama.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. Just leaving that rainy, hot game. Just try to give you guys a call and see what you guys thought. I didn't hear everything.
We didn't see too much tape of the game. I saw like the ESPN. I saw it live, and then I think someone on the 5th quarter put the game. The ESPN showed. It was only like 7 minutes. You know what I mean? But what did you think about the game, man? What was your take about it?
Well, I think both bands did well. It was extremely hot, which can, zap your energy. Both bands have some areas, they need to work on. I'm sure you guys know that I'm on staff now at Alabama A&M. There's things we need to work on, but I'm proud of the students. They did well. We practiced hard and they performed well. We still have areas to work on, and we turned the page. Now we're on to Tuskegee. Prepare for them.
I heard that. Well, I definitely want to make sure I get your information so we can do a chopping it up interview with you. I really like how Alabama A&M has come on in the last 3 years, and from what I saw from Alabama A&M, the band really did well with the formations as far as the spacing, like holding their steel formations, and they sounded really good, man. How did you feel about how the band sounded?
Well, that's an ongoing process, man. That developing that sound. The director of band, Carlton Wright, he's a big stickler on that. That's one reason he brought me in, because he liked the way my high school band sounded, Whitehaven High School. So I had been arranging for him. So he brought me in. We're trying to refine that sound and get, we try to let them loose a little bit in the stand. Because, of the type of bands that we are competing against, but we want that field presence to be top-notch, and we're getting there. We're getting there, but it's an ongoing process.
Well, yeah, man, I sure appreciate it, man. I'm really enjoying Alabama A&M, especially like last year. I think you guys played Pretty Girls, I believe, and we actually used that for our director series introduction over the summer. So that's something that we've been having our eye on you guys. So we were really excited when we saw this matchup on the schedule. But again, we knew that we were kind of worried about on Sunday what we would be able to see before the broadcast. But you said it was pretty hot out there, huh?
Oh, it was blazing. It was blazing, and then it started raining. Like monsoon towards the end of towards the middle of the 4th quarter, they had a scheduled 5th quarter which they canceled, and our football team was getting straight annihilated.
Right.
They were
Yeah, I did see.
To work on.
Right. I did see the athletic part of the competition. Yeah, we did see that.
So it was like 51-6 or whatever. So we just started playing. So we kind of had a 5th quarter in the 5th quarter in the 4th quarter. Mm-hmm. And we played a few songs after the game, and it was so hot, it was just time to get out of there.
Right. Well, that's what's up, man. We sure appreciate you calling in and letting us know, what was going on there. I know the guys, the 8 to 5 guys, are probably getting back or probably having some issues, but again, man, we really appreciate it, and we want to touch base with you. So I definitely want to do an episode with you because we'll be looking at you guys this year. Definitely the Jackson State Alabama A&M matchup this year. I'm really looking forward to that game because I imagine that one's going to be really good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I think we should if we keep on improving at the rate we're improving, then it should be a very good matchup.
Well, that's what's up, man. Oh, I appreciate it again. Now, are you from Detroit? I just asked you, are you from Detroit?
No, I'm from Memphis. I lived in Detroit for 6 years.
Okay.
I taught at River Rouge High School.
Oh. Okay.
And so I moved I moved back to Memphis in 2007, and I went to Whitehaven.
Okay.
From there, now I'm in Huntsville at A&amp.
Yeah, man, that's really cool. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
No. I was just calling in, man. Say a few words, man. I'm, listen to you guys for the conclusion of the show.
Well, that's what's up, man. I sure appreciate it, man. We're going to go ahead and get into the second segment. We appreciate the young brother calling in, the one of the associate directors at Alabama A&M. And, again, it's always good to see someone calling in to touch base with us. We're going to go ahead and get into the segment of the show and bring in our Prunalysis here on the 90 Degree Show for Week 1, the 2014 90 Degree Show. The MEAC SWAC Challenge.
What if there was a Facebook for bands? Wait a minute, there is. Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is a social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on Bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out Bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org, a social network for bands.
All right, we're back, and we're ready to bring on the second segment, and the outstanding man himself, the owner and founder of Block Band Music, Mr. Rashard Waters. What's going on today, Rashard?
Grand potentate or something or another, right?
I know I'm all over the place, man, today, man, getting stuff situated. Thank goodness that tomorrow's a holiday, and I try to be able to catch up with myself, man. But glad that you on for another day and another season. How has the off season been for you, man?
Oh man, really good. We are just trying our best in order to get a lot of bands ready, man. We have already, as of last year we sold 154 arrangements from January to December, and actually a couple of days. Well, you would have to have a standing ovation applause now because. Already, just a few days ago, we've already hit 160 arrangements sold for 2014.
Oh, wow. Outstanding. I need to get another one. I need to find a standing or people going screaming. Yeah, people screaming and stuff. That's what I need to get.
People passing out. But, yeah, man, but I'm ready to roll whenever you are. Of course, my conversation about the actual MEAC SWAC Challenge will be somewhat limited. I can talk about the bands themselves and I feel on what they may have done as we got ourselves into trouble doing last year, but I don't mind getting into trouble. And,
I know, right?
Pretty much everybody else other than Tennessee State and Edward Waters, I can talk pretty freely about.
All right. Well, yeah, that's all good, man. Well, I guess I can lead you in. What did you think about the MEAC SWAC based on, I know that, we only saw somewhat of a limited coverage, but two outstanding bands. And I know that we talked about both bands last year. But what did you think about, I was excited about it myself. What did you think about from what you saw? And, there was a couple of clips of, the parade, what do you think about the two programs?
I think that as far as matching up, it was to me as if the the football commissioner or whoever it is decides who's going to play who will have been reading the fifth quarter, you know? I mean, they were two of, I think the four most talked about bands last year were Southern, Jackson State, A&T, and Alabama A&M. These bands really dominated conversation last year. And then to also see, you know, Alabama A&M and A&T at the Honda last year, with A&T definitely winning, and a lot of people saying, well, Alabama A&M was probably the second band. For them to match up again is like it's what everybody wanted, you know, particularly for their first game. Wow, what a great way to start the season. Both bands have really been given a lot of accolades on how good they sound. That's the number one thing. Not necessarily accuracy in the drilling and things, although A&M has done some good jobs in drilling. Whereas A&T has done a lot of creativity with their drilling, but particularly sound is the number one thing. So I was very excited to hear about the matchup.
Yeah, I was exactly the same. I mean, that pretty much hit the nail on the head for me. Have you seen any clips of? I think I don't see as many clips on the web of Alabama A&M, but have you seen? I know that our man Thomas Jones Jr. Speechless Q, rude to your bruh. I know he's put some stuff out on his channel. Have you seen any A&T this year? I
have, and I just comparing what I saw real quick between the two bands. In the stands, I would give it to A&T in the stands. I haven't seen a lot of clips of both, but everything all the time, Joe, is based down to four principles. Okay. It's about attacks, it's about sustains, it's about releases, and it's about accuracy of pitch. Well, it's about blend as well, you know, or balance as well. But particularly the first three, I would say, these are the things that really make the difference between good bands and bands that are not as good. And and as I'm watching clips of both bands standing still, I would say the A&T is definitely the victor in that situation. When it comes to attacks, what I mean by that is that everybody comes in together. Nobody is sliding into the pitch. And everybody's hitting the right note. This is the attack. And I think A&T does a better job of that. When it comes to sustain, that means you're hitting the note, and then after you're hitting it, you're not going, you know, you're not going really sharp or really flat or cutting off too early. I think A&T does a better job of that. Although A&M is not no slouch in this area, but on attacks, I think they need some work there. I think as far as releases, once again, A&T is better there. Really, Joe, that's really the secret of the craft. There's a lot of bands we talk about, like, for example, Southern. We say, oh, yeah, Southern doesn't sound all that great. I think they do sound great, and the reason for that is even if you may not necessarily have the best tone quality, if you are attacking, sustaining, and releasing all at the same time, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes. You know?
That's deep.
I think A&T is the victor in that area as well.
Okay. Yeah, I really appreciate that because, you know, that's that music made knowledge that, you know, I can't really put my hands on per se. But, of course, like, just on, like, GP, you kind of think that it kind of wants to bleed over to A&T. Like, you think A&T may have an edge on them because, you know, Alabama State, as far as being on this level of bands, they are somewhat new. You know what I mean? Like Alabama A&M when I was in school was the same.
Don't get the callers calling in mad at us.
Yeah, you know, I said the same thing about Miles too. You know, we just chopped it up with Miles, or their assistant band director Brian Knowles, and I said something about them, you know, being up and coming. They're like, oh, what the hell is that supposed to mean? I was like, well, hold up, brother. I'm just saying I thought Miles is tight, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I wasn't talking about Miles in the 90s. You know, I wasn't in high school, you know, talking about Miles was the bomb or something like that, you know. But I understand that. But, yes, to a certain degree, yes, you know, this is like hot. This is like hot new stuff for us. So, like Alabama A&M, you know, we wasn't necessarily thinking of you the same back when I was in school. I guess that's all I'm saying, you know. But it's good to be talking about you in this circumstance now. I hope I made it better. But please let us know. 718-664-6025. But definitely, so like you said, as far as the small, and that's a small minor detail as far as tacking and releasing. What do you think about Tennessee State and Edward Waters?
Okay. I don't know, Joe, honestly. I haven't seen any clips of Tennessee State at all. The only thing I know is I've heard is Tennessee State is a monster as far as size is concerned.
Yes.
As far as being able to play, I know Tennessee State can play pretty much anybody out in the stadium. I mean, they're not the most powerful band in the world, but if you're just talking about grooving and how technical that we can be, Tennessee State can do it, man. But Edward Waters has a good sound. But I think it's just kind of hard to match up with that. But like you said, they may be, they do a creative show, so I really couldn't have any insight on that. I do got some more about A&M and A&T though.
Okay, yeah. Well, go ahead. Let's go ahead. We can talk about that. It's fine. I mean, this segment, we can go ahead and get the nitty gritty out the way. And if some of the callers, want to go ahead and call in and listen to us and school us about what's going on, that's fine too. But yeah, we could definitely go into A&T a little bit more. I've seen. Probably they've been the most that I've seen. I mean, I saw like 3 or 4 at Jackson State, but of course, I don't look at Jackson State the same. But I've seen a lot of A&T. You know what I mean? What do you think, man? Go ahead and school us some more, please.
Okay. Here is the thing with A&T right now, and this is a battle that every show-style band has to fight. It is, what is my challenge level versus what is my ability level? Okay? Challenge level is how hard is this music, how hard is this show that I'm trying to do? Ability level is your ability to do it. From a challenge level perspective, honestly, A&T, I'm just going to lay this out there. I'm just going to put it down and let everybody else kick it and stomp it if they want, but it's true. A&T is on a level of challenge that's way higher than anybody else, way higher than anybody else in the game right now. That's just true.
Mm-hmm.
The things they're doing, their show that I saw, the 20-minute-long show that they saw with all the different moves that they did, lots and lots and lots of dynamics, lots of exposed parts. It was
a lot of visuals.
A really, really tough show. A lot of
visuals, yeah.
I mean, tough. And for them to be able to pull that a 20-minute show off of that level of challenge just from band count, I have to give them props, man. That was amazing. Here's the problem, though. They are performing. They are attempting to do things that is above their ability level. Okay, listen, Joe. No, you don't. If you can apply this to any other thing that you do. You don't get points in basketball for attempting to do a nice dunk. It doesn't matter how great the play is in football. What matters is if you score the touchdown. Do you gain your yards? That's what matters. Now, if you gain your yards and you do a beautiful play, if you dunk the ball and you do a windmill while you do it, that's what makes you the Michael Jordan of basketball, okay? But you have to be able to do both. What A&T is attempting to do is to be able to put themselves into a level where they are the number one band in the country right now. But like I said, they are attempting to perform at an ability level that's a little bit higher than their what they can do. And I think they might need to back off a little bit. One guy I noticed on the fifth quarter, one person talked about the A&T show, and he said, one thing about A&T, I don't think they pay enough attention to detail. I think that comment is completely wrong. I think they pay a tremendous amount of attention to detail. However, if one band is paying attention to 15 different things and another band is paying attention to 100 different things, it's very easy to miss a lot. I think they kind of need to back it up a little bit and make sure that the ability level of the band matches. Like, for example, they do these core-style formations, and that are great. But with a core-style formation versus, let's say you make a slant. If you make a slant and it's perfect, people are excited. Oh, wow, look at that line. That's really straight, But if you attempt to do a geometrical formation, which is harder to do, a curvilinear formation, which is harder to do, if you don't absolutely nail it, it has no visual effect on the audience whatsoever. None. The audience is not excited about that. They're like, what's that? And we saw a lot. The other thing that's happening with A&T is also, I think A&T is continuing to find themselves, and they need to make sure that they're not overshooting their target as far as their shows are concerned. So, for example, the Queen City Battle of the Bands, it was a good show, and from people who know band, they would say, "Wow, that was a good show." But from an audience perspective, it needed to be tweaked, maybe made a little bit shorter. They needed to nail the impact points a little bit more. They really didn't nail it. Versus a band like Talladega came in there. Talladega came in there, did half a drill. They lined up off the 50-yard line, but they stopped and they parked and they blew the stadium down. And average people would have walked out of that stadium saying Talladega was amazing. Because Talladega, on the opposite, they did a show that was basic, middle school show. I'm sorry, it was.
Wow.
It was a middle school level show. But their playing level is way above that, so they sounded really, really good at playing something that was really, really simple, and that's how you win. It doesn't matter, once again, it doesn't matter when two football teams are playing, it doesn't matter who has the best plays. It matters who scores, and that's what Talladega did at the Queen City.
It's funny you say that because I have not looked at that Talladega. I have not looked at that Talladega performance. I know a lot of people were talking about it. But right quick before we go to commercial break, before our last segment, who do you think won that Queen City Battle of the Bands? Because it sounded like you said Talladega kind of showed up a little bit. Because I was assuming that A&T would just beat everybody. You know what I mean? Was it that simple, or did Talladega kind of show up better than what we were expecting?
No, I would be sacrificing myself as a bandsman if I said that Talladega beat everybody. And also, I didn't see every other band. And I don't want to hate on Talladega. I'm just telling you that what they did was they did a very short drill. They stopped and they played through. They stopped. They didn't do a dance routine. They didn't move anymore. Not whatsoever. After they did their drill, they stayed and they played like 3 or 4 songs in place. That's not a show.
Oh,
you know what I mean? I can't say that. There's no way that as a bandsman I can say they had the better show. However, they sounded great.
Yeah.
They were very exceptionally powerful.
And that's what really makes them jump out at you. You hear them 40 people line up, and then it's just like, whoa, what is that? You know what I'm saying? That's what kind of makes me surprised at them. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Oh, I see now. I see. You haven't seen them this year.
Well, I mean, what, maybe 45 people for 80 people? I mean, I'm not thinking like they like Fam or like, or not Fam, but like Bethune or Tennessee State or something like that.
Yeah, Talladega's sitting on about 200 people, dude.
Oh, yeah. See, you know what? I'm glad you said that because that's going to make me want to look at that clip. Because no way in hell they about 200 people just in this 1 year like that?
Yes, they are about 200. They feel
okay, so
field.
We got to find out what's the cheating standard. Because if folks is cheating in the football and all of a sudden, like your Baylors and all these schools coming out of nowhere, how does your Talladega College come up to be 200 people? What is really going on? I mean, hey, I like seeing it, but how are they pulling that off? That's what I would like to know.
You think they got some high schoolers in the band?
I don't know if it's high schoolers or the band directors. They passing out women at the club, or they passing out cars. Are they was it the Blue Chip, where they gave Anthony Hardaway mama, Alfre Woodard, like a job in the house? I don't know what's going on, brother. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, damn. But I mean, it's a good thing. But is Talladega College, is that a private institution?
I don't know.
Because another thing I think about is like straight up tuition.
Let me say this real quick. I do know this happened, Joe. I found out from one of my brothers. I don't know why this happened, but apparently the president of my fine distinguished university, Hampton University, recently donated $1 million to Talladega because he went to Talladega first.
Oh, okay.
So, but $1 million will only get you so far. You know what I mean? But
right.
Apparently he did. Now, on the other hand, we could have used that in our own band, just to say. But I'm just saying. But anyway, so he didn't necessarily give it to the band. I mean, he just gave it to the school. But I guess Talladega gets it as far as where they need to put their money if they want to be recognized in America.
Yeah, I mean, and with that smaller tuition, I'm sure that they could do a lot with it. You know what I mean? Yeah, they can. I mean, they can put it where they want to. It's really an interesting thing. Speaking like those Miles, another up and coming school will be playing Hampton this year. It's one of the games we pointed out on our schedule this year. So that'll be definitely something interesting that we can talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go ahead and let's go ahead and get to our last commercial break, and we'll get to the last segment. Again, we'll just get each other's picks. Looks like we both agreed as far as we can't really see too much of the data based on SWAC MEAC being just being over really a couple hours ago, and probably as we're on the air, we're probably getting videos and stuff. But please don't forget, you can go to our website, themarchingpodcast.com, and vote on who you think won our featured matchup. We'll have that open throughout the week, and then we'll close it right before we read the winner next Sunday on our Week 2 broadcast. But, yes, go to the website, themarchingpodcast.com, and vote on who you think won the particular matchup based on what you saw or, if you were there or whatnot. And then we'll read the winner of that winner of the Marching Podcast People's Choice Awards next Sunday. And at the end of the year, we will post the blog post showing all the results and the percentages. I was it's really funny to do this show now and then see the response of what people say back to you. We have a lot of the haters. The haters always want to put themselves out there. But it's really funny seeing people respond to the People's Choice Awards talking about the Marching Podcast. Like, man, y'all stupid, man. Y'all tripping, man. Why y'all? This is for you. So just to let you know, the Marching Podcast People's Choice Awards are just a report of when we put these particular matchups out there to the public, what you respond to us and say. We are not saying yay or nay to who wins these particular matchups. This is all based on what you vote on when you go to our website, themarchingpodcast.com. So please go to our website, themarchingpodcast.com, and vote on who you think won the Week 1 matchup. Okay, like I said, we both think that we couldn't have enough data for the SWAC MEAC Challenge for Tennessee State and Edward Waters. That halftime battle is posted on the fifth quarter. Someone did post it there, and I was able to take a look at that. Again, like I said, I think that it was a draw, but you, in a way, have to give that a slight bit to Edward Waters because they were on the road. They're a whole lot smaller than Tennessee State, and Tennessee State should have blown them out the water. Like, they should have made sure that they did not want to even come back to Nashville for even anything, not even for those biscuits at that fried chicken place down the school next to Fisk out there in Nashville. I forgot the place, but you know where it is. People get them biscuits out there from that place. But they don't even want to go back to Nashville because of the butt whooping that the aristocrat of bands put on them, and that did not happen. I feel like Tennessee State definitely left the door open for Edward Waters to have a lot of confidence on them. So, again, I say it's a draw, but, again, maybe so. Edward Waters may have may have stolen a little bit of something out there for that. So let's go ahead and go into the last segment of the show. We'll bring back Rashard, and we'll get into our last segment, Word on the Street. We'll open the phone lines for you still to comment on what you said, and then we'll close out the show for the night. Again, this is the 90 Degree Show, Week 1 on the Marching Podcast Network.
This is Curtis from 80minutesofregulation.com. From referees' whistle to drum majors' whistle and back, your source for sports and marching and athletic music. You're listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
Band directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
Chopping It Up is a podcast of one-on-one interviews with positive role models that have a connection through music and or education. Chopping It Up is all about inspiring our youth for a great future and providing a roadmap on how to get there. We also chop it up to give insight to anyone looking for information or hope in their endeavors. Chop it up with us on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern at blogtalkradio.com/marchingpodcast. Chopping It Up, changing the world through positive interaction.
Hey, it's the Edge One, Southern University's Class of 2013 graduate. You're listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
All right, we're back, and we'll bring Rashad back in to talk about our last segment, and that is Word on the Street. We're always touching base with Facebook, Twitter, the YouTube, or the fifth quarter, or any other means that we can to touch base and see what people are saying. And a lot of times people are saying some really good stuff, and they just do not want to call in and say it on the air, which is totally understandable. I totally get that. But we definitely want to read out some of the things that we saw based on what we see. And again, you're welcome to call in and still give us your insight or talk about what you saw this weekend at 718-664-6025. This is the 90 Degree Show, brought to you by the Marching Podcast and Blog Talk Radio. Thanks for listening. Rashad, I'll go ahead and ask you right quick, man. The two games that we talked about, and we kind of talked about, who we kind of gave it to. Do you see any of those bands and an exciting matchup coming in the upcoming year?
Oh, I think this A&P FAMU will be interesting. Nice little rematch from I think that was it's been years since those two bands have matched up. I think it was not. I don't even remember when it was. Last time I think it was in Greensboro. And I honestly haven't really checked the schedule to talk about that. I've been selling this music, man. Selling these stats. Get stats flying out. Every day somebody wants some stats, man.
Well, man, that's a good thing. I'm going to go ahead and I want to get what you felt about that. I want to read some of the things that I saw here on the fifth quarter so some of the people know some of the things we read about, just so folks who are not exposed to the fifth quarter, they can, go on to forum.thefifthquarter.com, and that's forum.the and then the number 5 thquarter.com. So forum.thefifthquarter.com. Sign on and get you an account, and you can start to leave your comments or start to read what folks are putting in. But someone posted about, hey, Edward Waters versus Tennessee State. I think that is Aaron 100. He says, what do y'all think about this battle? A lot of people were given to the affirmative, saying, yeah, that's going to be a good battle, blah, blah, blah. But it started to get a little crump. It started to get a little, I don't know, hostile, so to speak. And you never really know what happens sometimes on the fifth. Someone will post something sometimes, and you never know what they'll respond. But person, Jazzy JB05, wrote, as long as M. Graham is the head band director at Edward Waters, you can't take them lightly. The Dub 305 responded and said, thank you. The fact that Tennessee State is a large band really doesn't mean anything. Edward Waters when Edward Waters went to Alabama State, they got house. Alcorn, they got house. And Cookman, they got house. UAP got house. When they go to TSU, this will be another school added to the house resume. Size really doesn't mean anything to this little band. They will embarrass you. Football-wise, Edward Waters will get slaughtered. But band-wise, this will be a fun game for those who've never seen them. Meanwhile, I'm trying to make this game, but the MEAC SWAC game that Sunday, that's looking better. So it's funny. I think that might have been James from Band too. But I mean, they make a good point. Like, you come into the visitors thing, you gonna get house, and your large band is gonna get house. But I mean, did they really put them away? That's really the question. It really didn't seem to be the case. But really love seeing this banter back and forth on the fifth. One guy, which is something that I don't know how people do, but how do people add pictures to show an expression? Like, they say, like, oh, that was funny, and then they got, like, a picture of, like, a baby or, like, a picture of, like, Jay-Z with, like, the perfect expression on their face. Like, how do people find that, man?
I don't even know, man. I don't got that stuff myself.
I know, man. That might be us being old. But, they, but other people said Edward Waters is a strong powerhouse band. They have the uncanny ability to highlight the positive and minimize the negative. They came to a show-style band in Charleston and against South Carolina State and A&T, and everyone was talking about Edward Waters when they left. Volume-wise, you won't see the difference. But TSU has a dry show, which I agree with this guy. TSU did have a dry show this week from what we saw on YouTube. And Edward Waters has one of those shows that punches them in the mouth. You and I, Rashad, we always talk about, you pulling at heartstrings or talking about Jesus or talking about other things. Edward Waters really went after Nashville's crowd, talking about, the black condition here in America and, making sure that we have peace and eliminating racism and a whole bunch of stuff. They really did go for a political type of stance, and Tennessee State just kind of came out with a very bland show. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that go ahead, please.
I'm going to say, a lot of times big bands fall into the small band trap, the sleep trap.
Mm-hmm.
We just tend to think, if we just do whatever it is that we do, nobody will pay attention to this little band. Everybody thinks that every large band tends to think it's Southern versus Clark Atlanta. And that's not how it goes all the time, because a small band shows up with something to prove. No offense to Clark Atlanta.
Right. No doubt. And the last thing, I will go ahead and read. Someone said that why are people so worried about Purple Thunder? They are not a gimmick, but essentially their dance line is. In 2013, they weren't at a few games, but EWC sounds good and balanced. I just wish they had woodwind. I wish they had woodwinds that can add size to them, a good 15, 20 people. So as far as the gimmick representation is concerned, and I did see this up on a couple of the threads, the girls for Edward Waters are all okay. God, I'm scared. I'm scared, Rashad. How I'm supposed to say this, man. They're all larger in size.
That is correct.
Yes, the girls per se, it's always seemed like a gimmick to have like the big girls come out for all bands. Jackson State, everybody, it's a whole bunch. It's like a little team of big girls come out and they do it big. Well, Edward Waters, I don't know if these are their girls or what, but these girls were part of the program like the Dancing Dolls were. And I don't know
Right.
if that was supposed to be. I mean, right quick, what do you think about that, Rashad?
I mean, like you said, they are part of the crew. You know, they're not. Unlike, I think we saw like Alabama State, you know, have some big girls this year as well. A lot of people have done that, but a lot of times those are band members or people they found off the street. You know, they found them at KFC and wanted them to dance. So these girls are legitimate parts of the band. They are talented. You know, they're doing flips and things like that. My only thing though is that I'm a bandsman, and I personally don't think that the auxiliary should ever close the deal as far as who had the better band. That's just my opinion. You know, auxiliary doing a great job is great, but what did the wind players? What did the percussion? That's just.
Yeah, I totally agree. I like it to be strictly about the band, but I'm surprised that if that is the dance line, I'm surprised that they kind of pulled the trigger like that. You know, there's just way too much attention on them girls like that. Because again, you know, I think the attention then we talk about the girls, ain't really talking about Edward Waters so much. But I mean, it's I don't know, man. Like when I saw it, I was like, wow, that's a stretch. You know what I mean? Because like everybody and their mama was doing it to get house, but now this is like what you putting out there. And a part of me is like, are you putting it out there because your band is so small, or like what's up with that? I don't know. I just can't really say I'm all 100% thumbs up about it because it is. Well, you know, I think it's pulling attention, and you know, I don't know.
I know Marcus Graham personally, and you know, it's just a part of their group. You know what I mean? Like I think what happened what did he tell me happened? I think it was a gimmick maybe several years ago, but the girls work so hard. I mean, they really, really work hard. You know, and so I think, I'm not gonna say more than that. I think they just really, really work hard, and so they deserve to have their own line. If they get house, that's great. You know what I mean? If they are an asset to the band and not a liability, that's awesome, and they deserve to be there. I just don't think, like I said, that they should make it in band side. They should not make it or break it as far as the band. And that's no reflection on Edward Waters' performance, because I know they can do a great job. I just have no idea what they did.
Right. Well, that's what's up, man. Well, looks like that's all we got time for the show, man. Do you want to say anything on the exit before we exit out for the night?
Absolutely. I want to say real quick that Jackson State is the band to beat right now. I was very disappointed by the merge. The merge I saw last year, I was like, this is incredible. I cannot believe, wow, Jackson State is going to be awesome. When I saw the merge this year, I was like, wow, this is really sloppy, you know. But then I saw them in performance. Wow. They've got, number one, Joe, they've got the things I talked about, attacks and release of things. They've got that. They fixed the mellophone problem where they can really bring the heat as far as the mellophones without mellophones going all out of character. I thought their show was really good. I think they can nail a straight line. I think they are the band to beat right now. It has been years. It has been several years. I always thought Southern is number one, and Jackson's kind of like Southern, but not quite there. Now it's the opposite. Jackson State is number one, and Southern is kind of like that right now.
Well, that's what's up, man. I definitely, you know, like I say, it's hard for me to always judge Jackson State because it's my school, and, you know, my dad did a good job of brainwashing me at an early age. But definitely that's always what I fought between was like FAM, like Southern. But now A&T has done so much showman style. It's just they just ain't got that dog in them. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing about A&T that I'm kind of like always on board with them. It's just that nasty snatch your weave up out your hair. You know what I'm saying? That's what I need to see. And Southern and Jackson State definitely have that dog in them. But it's going to be interesting, and glad to have you on for the next year to talk bands. I know we saw some bands this year. I saw Southern and the Bohemian Rhapsody and a whole bunch of stuff, and we'll be getting into this year. Yeah, I thought it was really good. So a whole bunch of stuff we're going to get into this year, man, so I appreciate your time, Rashad. And please go and check out Block Band Music and blockbandmusic.com, Block Band Music and Publishing, and find out what you can do with your administrator with your band. So again, I appreciate it, Rashad, man. Have a good week, man.
Thank you, sir. You have a great one, okay?
All right. All right, we thank you for listening to the show. We will definitely get things going and moving. Hopefully we'll have some more data for our featured matchup next week. I think next week, I will look that up right quick, but we have another outstanding matchup. But you guys can go ahead and check out our blog, blogthenumber4.com, for the schedule for the Marching Podcast 90 Degree Show this year for the 2014 year. While I was talking, the advancements of internet went ahead and pulled it up for me. But next week is Elizabeth City at North Carolina Central. That should be really good because Elizabeth City is really up and coming, and North Carolina Central under the new direction of a friend of our network, T.D. Holland. So we definitely want to check out that, and make sure you check us out next week. Thanks again for listening. Go to themarchingpodcast.com and vote on who you think won the MEAC SWAC challenge from this week. That's all the time we have for the show tonight. Thanks for your time. Thank you for listening. Donate what's in your check out the website and donate what's in your heart to themarchingpodcast.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Thank you for listening. And remember, the lectures you may deliver may be very private, but I'd rather get my lesson by observing what you do. See you next time.